He is on the cover as one of the 100 most influential companies.
Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively get yet another fake PR award from Time magazine.
Ryan Reynolds just exposed himself after allegedly manipulating insider connections to fake his way onto Time magazine's influential lists. And it's not just Ryan. Blake Lively's doing the exact same thing. They're using those fake awards to distract the world from lawsuits, smear campaigns, and the massive backlash crashing down on them.
Blake Lively was also one of the 100 most influential people in the world based on the fact that they gave some money to charity 6 years earlier.
Like, for years, these two were shoved down everyone's throats as the power duo, the picture-perfect marriage, everyone's favorite relatable celebrities. But guess what? The cracks are showing. And they're not just small cracks. This whole PR-built empire is straight up falling apart in front of our eyes. And no amount of staged selfies or sarcastic tweets is going to glue this mess back together.
Time magazine exposing a deceptively manipulative, and I'm gonna say corrupt, media organization.
The Time magazine disaster alone exposed how badly these two are clinging to their fake image. You really think people are that dumb? That nobody would notice when a couple that's been surrounded by legal mess, scandals, and online hate suddenly gets honored like they're world-changing heroes? Please. The PR machine is malfunctioning, the covers are peeling off, and now we're all seeing the ugly side of their empire.
He is on the cover as one of the 100 most influential companies in the world. And Maximum Effort, which is this company, is being celebrated, and everyone's like, how much did he pay for this cover? I don't know.
Blake and Ryan Reynolds didn't just want to be a regular rich couple. No, they wanted to be Hollywood royalty. But newsflash, royalty doesn't come from backdoor deals and fake awards. And it sure as hell doesn't come from manipulating the media. The cracks started to show the second Time magazine decided to play along with their little image-fixing operation, and now the whole foundation is crumbling.
The fact that he even had to answer it in this forum shows it's impacting his business. So he can keep denying it all he wants, but this Jedi mind trick that they're pulling on all of you, this PR spin, don't accept it.
Let's talk about that Time magazine fiasco for a second, because it is peak desperation. Blake Lively somehow made it to the list of Time's 100 most influential people, and when you dig into the reason, it's laughable. They pulled up a dusty, vague donation she made to the NAACP back in 2019. Yeah, 2019. We're supposed to believe that a 6-year-old charitable gesture suddenly makes her one of the most influential people in 2025? Come on, that's not just a stretch. That's Olympic-level gymnastics.
Blake Lively got this fake award from Time 100. One of the most influential people of 2025, yeah, because she gave a donation to the NAACP back in 2019.
And while everyone was side-eyeing Blake's miraculous rise to influential status, Ryan Reynolds just so happened to get his company, Maximum Effort, listed as one of the most influential companies too. What an insane coincidence, right? Or maybe not. Because when you look deeper, you find the same shady connections that always seem to pop up around these two.
I'm sure Ryan Reynolds is making a ton of money from his company.
Time magazine isn't just an innocent, credible institution anymore. The guy who owns it now? Mark Benioff, CEO of Salesforce. And surprise, surprise, he's got deep ties to Hollywood power players like Ari Emanuel. You know, the same Ari Emanuel who happens to be Ryan's agent. It's funny how all these rich elites keep circling the same parties, the same events, the same little billionaire playgrounds. And somehow everyone keeps landing magazine covers, awards, and fake praise right when they need to clean up their public image.
They went to Time magazine and made a whole deal. Not only are you going to get your wife an award, which you guys need right now, and we'll get a civil rights attorney to step up and vouch for her. We're then going to wait a few months, and then we'll promote your business. We're going to put you in the Time 100 companies, so you can then not only get the attention, but you can then use all your businesses, which make you all the money. And
there are actual photos floating around of Mark Benioff and Rahm Emanuel, Ari's brother, cozying up at events, smiling for cameras, networking in plain sight. And you're telling me none of this is connected? Please. At this point, even their most diehard fans are questioning whether these Time magazine honors are actually achievements or just expensive PR makeovers with insider hookups.
You can then not only get the attention, but you can then use all your businesses, which make you all the money and help show your businesses that you're still valuable. Oh, and we'll also throw in a big gala that you can bring Blake's mom to, and you can talk about how important DV is. It's going to be a perfect spin. What do you guys think?
Meanwhile, the fan base is turning. Social media isn't as easy to manipulate as Ryan probably hoped. The cracks in their perfect couple narrative are wide open now, and the backlash is getting louder. People are seeing the stage photo ops for what they really are, desperate distractions from the mess behind the scenes. And speaking of desperate distractions, where the hell did Blake Lively disappear to after her so-called legal win? You'd think someone as addicted to Instagram as Blake would be throwing herself a party all over social media the minute the lawsuit chaos calmed down. But nope, radio silence. And that's pretty damn suspicious. Remember the last time the lawsuit headlines looked good for her? She was on Instagram within minutes, celebrating, pretending to be the proud defender of victims, making sure everyone knew she was standing up for what's right. But this time, total silence. And people noticed. Her disappearing act completely contradicts her whole public persona. One minute she's all about being vocal, standing for justice, fighting the good fight. The next minute, she's gone into hiding the second the narrative stops benefiting her. It's almost like all that activism talk was just another PR stunt. Shocking, right? Legal insiders have been whispering about it too. The Van Zandt sham lawsuit? Yeah, the one that's looking more and more like a distraction tactic than actual justice? That whole situation is still spiraling, and Blake's team is working overtime dodging accountability. But her silence isn't making the situation go away, it's making it worse. The internet is ruthless, and the more she tries to avoid the backlash, the louder it gets. The funny thing is, even with all the staged wins and carefully crafted PR moves, their reputation is still in freefall. The fan base isn't buying the perfect image anymore. The public appearances feel forced, awkward, desperate. And the more Blake and Ryan try to cling to their curated Hollywood power couple fantasy, the more obvious it becomes that the empire is held together with duct tape and panic. But honestly, the hypocrisy is the most ridiculous part of all this. They love to parade around as activists when it suits them. Ryan cracks his corny jokes, Blake plays the supportive, outspoken wife, they both plaster on the "we're just good people" act. But when it comes to real accountability, silence, hiding, dodging, their selective activism is as fake as those Time magazine awards, and people are finally catching on. The empire they built on carefully staged photos, insider connections, and fake accolades is wobbling. And for once, no amount of sarcastic Deadpool humor is going to fix it. The fan base questioning them now isn't just internet trolls, it's people who actually supported them for years, who are waking up to how staged and transactional this whole image really is. And you know what? It's about time. They wanted to be Hollywood royalty, the lovable couple everyone envied. But the cracks are exposed, the foundation is crumbling, and the world is watching the downfall play out in real time. No fake awards, no Instagram filters, and definitely no insider favors are going to patch this disaster together. The man has been on a full-blown PR parade, taking subtle, but let's be real, painfully obvious, shots at Baldoni while simultaneously painting himself as the ultimate success story. You'd think after all the chaos surrounding his wife and that sham of a lawsuit, he'd have the decency to shut up. But no, Ryan's out here bragging that the controversy has actually helped his brand grow. That's right. This guy is flexing that turning someone else's reputation into roadkill is somehow a genius business move.
Ryan Reynolds had a dig at Justin Baldoni. Again, this is what he does. So Page 6 was reporting on it, saying that Ryan Reynolds makes thinly veiled dig at Justin Baldoni as Blake Lively legal battle takes unexpected turn.
And it doesn't stop there. Ryan's standing on every available platform, swearing that accountability and integrity are the foundation of how he operates. Integrity? From the same man who's closing comment sections faster than you can say, damage control? Spare us. If accountability means hiding from your own audience because they're calling you out, then yeah, maybe Ryan's got a new definition of the word we haven't heard before. You see, it's a carefully crafted strategy. 1 minute, he's selling himself as this vulnerable, misunderstood, relatable millionaire who just wants to make people laugh. The next, he's smugly dunking on Baldoni and acting like he's completely unbothered by public opinion. But his actions tell a different story. You don't scramble to shut down your own social media conversations unless you're panicking behind the scenes. You don't build an entire fake PR empire, buy off media attention, and hide behind integrity while publicly humiliating someone else unless you're desperate to keep the spotlight fixed on your carefully curated image. Ryan can spin all the inspirational TED Talk sound bites he wants, but the truth is glaring. Every time he claims to rise above the drama, his next move is laced with backhanded insults, disguised as charming wit. The hypocrisy practically oozes out of every interview. And honestly, the only person he's fooling at this point is himself. But here's where it gets even juicier. Let's talk about James Vushka, the Daily Mail reporter who basically flipped this entire circus on its head. If you needed proof that the Reynolds Lively PR machine is built on silencing dissent and manipulating narratives, this is it. Vushka started off doing exactly what Blake's team wanted. He filed a sworn statement downplaying Blake's alleged smear campaign against Baldoni, helping them push their version of events. Classic Hollywood cleanup job, right? But guess what? Turns out he was pressured into it. And unlike Ryan, who apparently thinks hiding behind charm is the solution to everything, Vushka decided to blow the whole thing wide open. After realizing he'd been railroaded into protecting Blake's narrative, Vushka fired the Daily Mail's in-house lawyers, the same legal team, tied to one of the most notorious tabloid empires out there, and brought in Mark Garagos. Now, Garagos isn't exactly the kind of attorney you hire unless you're ready to take on some very powerful people. The fact that Vushka ditched corporate-backed lawyers for one of Hollywood's biggest legal sharks says everything about how real this mess is. The whistleblower status Vushka secured? That's not just some dramatic headline. It's a giant red flag waving over the Reynolds Lively PR operation. It shows just how far Blake's camp allegedly went to protect their image, from manipulating media coverage to pressuring insiders into keeping quiet. But the cracks are too wide now. Insiders like Vushka are breaking ranks, exposing the carefully hidden rot behind the couple's shiny facade. And let's be honest, this whole media manipulation game, it's not just Blake's mess, it's Ryan's too. The man has built an entire empire on calculated charm, playing the lovable goofball while ruthlessly steering the narrative to protect himself and his wife. But the Vushka whistleblower bombshell shows that even the slickest PR games can't keep the truth buried forever. Ryan's been walking around with this ridiculous people-pleaser badge, selling himself as the harmless, sarcastic guy next door. But behind that relatable act is one of the most calculated corporate manipulators in Hollywood. It's honestly wild how he's managed to convince so many people that he's just a regular guy, cracking jokes, raising his kids, occasionally saving the world in a Deadpool suit. Meanwhile, every move he makes is dripping with control tactics. You'd think for someone so obsessed with appearing relatable, Ryan might be able to stick to one version of the truth. But nope, his contradictions are everywhere. 1 minute, he's proudly admitting he craves public approval, like being liked is his entire identity. The next, he's standing in front of reporters claiming he doesn't care what anyone thinks, as if the thousands of people roasting him online don't exist. His Time magazine interview was the biggest red flag of them all. The man practically begged for validation, spinning an entire fairy tale about how integrity and togetherness fuel everything he does. Meanwhile, he's orchestrating smear campaigns, manipulating media coverage, and shutting down dissenting voices left and right. But hey, at least he did it with a smirk and a joke, right? That's supposed to make it charming. Then there's the whole Wrexham FC feel-good story he won't shut up about. If I have to hear one more time about how buying a struggling football club somehow proves he's humble and grounded, I might lose it. Wrexham isn't about community to Ryan, it's another PR weapon. Another carefully staged narrative designed to polish his image and distract from the manipulative chaos behind the scenes. He wants to be seen as the scrappy underdog, the nice guy who never lost touch with his roots. But the reality? He's a corporate powerhouse wrapped in a carefully manufactured personality, using every trick in the book to dodge accountability and keep the public eating out of his hand. Let's not forget how calculated this charm offensive really is. It's not organic, it's not authentic, it's a business strategy. Ryan's entire persona is a PR product designed to maximize profits and minimize criticism. That's why he weaponizes his so-called relatability to distract from the fact that he and Blake have been manipulating narratives, silencing insiders, and steamrolling anyone who threatens their empire. Behind the jokes, the staged social media posts, and the fake humility is a guy who can't let go of control for 5 seconds. His every move is choreographed, his every word chosen to craft the illusion of sincerity. But the facade is cracking. Insiders are speaking up, fans are seeing through the BS, and Ryan Reynolds is scrambling to patch the leaks with more sarcasm and damage control. The truth is, the man's not fooling anyone anymore. His carefully curated empire of charm, relatability, and corporate manipulation is falling apart. And no amount of backhanded insults, fake humility, or Time magazine puff pieces are going to save it. It's honestly laughable how Ryan Reynolds has managed to turn his most embarrassing flop into some weird marketing bible for his entire life. The man bombed so hard with Green Lantern back in 2011 that most people would have buried their careers and disappeared. But Ryan? He did what he always does. He took that humiliation, slapped a sarcastic spin on it, and convinced half of Hollywood that failure is just part of his genius branding. Let's get real for a second. Green Lantern wasn't just bad, it was catastrophic. Critics tore it apart, fans hated it, and even Ryan himself pretends like he wasn't in it. But somehow, he's now rewriting history, like that mess was the secret training ground for his so-called PR brilliance. He wants everyone to believe that stumbling through one of the biggest superhero disasters in cinema gave him the skills to manipulate public perception like a pro. But in reality, it exposed his playbook for what it is. One giant manipulative branding machine disguised as charm. His company, Maximum Effort, is literally built on hijacking attention in record time. It's like a factory that churns out viral content the moment something happens, all designed to keep Ryan front and center. The guy mastered fast advertising, turning pop culture moments into personal PR wins before the internet even has time to react. And people actually buy into it, thinking he's just quick-witted and clever, when really it's all a calculated move to distract from the cracks in his empire. Take the Peloton fiasco, for example. Everyone remembers that cringy Peloton ad, the one where the husband gifts his wife a bike and basically monitors her existence like she's under house arrest. The internet roasted it, the company tanked, and chaos followed. But then comes Ryan, swooping in with his aviation gin ad, turning the whole disaster into free promotion for himself. Suddenly, he's the savior of internet culture, capitalizing on controversy under the guise of humor. But let's be honest, it wasn't some noble moment of defending women's rights or making fun of outdated ads. It was pure exploitation. He saw an opportunity to flip a trending mess into money for his brand, and he pounced. That's the Ryan Reynolds blueprint. Spin disasters into carefully staged comebacks, all while pretending to be the relatable, harmless, funny guy. It's the same formula with Wrexham FC. Ryan walks around acting like buying a struggling Welsh football club was his heartfelt mission to uplift communities. Please, it's another layer of his endless PR scam. Wrexham became his latest prop, wrapped in feel-good storytelling, masking the real motive, business expansion, every emotional moment, every documentary shot of him looking teary-eyed in the stadium. Another scene in the Ryan Reynolds marketing movie. He loves to tell the story about how Wrexham symbolizes hope, unity, and community upliftment. But behind the heartwarming speeches, there's the same corporate machine at work. Merchandise sales, docuseries profits, endless press coverage. It's not about saving small towns, it's about inflating his brand with a manufactured underdog narrative. And the fans? They're eating it up, not realizing they're just extras in his carefully choreographed business expansion plan. The most exhausting part is how Ryan wraps all of this in his lesson from failure narrative. He acts like Green Lantern taught him about humility and bouncing back, but all it really taught him was how to craft bulletproof, manipulative branding tactics. He doesn't care about being authentic. He cares about controlling every headline, spinning every moment, and staying one step ahead of backlash. But here's the part that truly makes your head spin: the raging hypocrisy. Ryan and Blake love to climb onto their moral high horse, preaching accountability, justice, and standing up for what's right. Meanwhile, their entire empire is built on weaponizing legal claims, silencing dissent, and cashing in on fake advocacy. Blake's lawsuit against Baldoni, based on shaky evidence and a storyline that falls apart under scrutiny, yet she struts around acting like the hero. She hides behind tone-deaf product promotions like Betty Boo's while dodging accountability, selling spiked seltzers while being tangled in legal messes. Nothing screams integrity like leveraging your alcohol brand during a defamation circus. And Ryan? He's no better. The man mocks Baldoni publicly, throwing shade left and right, but the second anyone criticizes him, he cries foul. Suddenly, he's the victim of cancel culture, the poor misunderstood celebrity just trying to live his life. But behind the scenes, he's aggressively managing public perception, cutting deals, buying accolades, and silencing voices that threaten his empire. They play the victims of online hate while using every insider connection in the book to keep their image spotless. Time Magazine awards, magazine covers, influencer praise. It's all part of the same bought and paid for strategy to distract the public. They package fake wokeness and PR cover-ups as integrity-driven success, all while manipulating every inch of their narrative. Their empire thrives on smoke and mirrors. Behind every smiling photo op and carefully crafted speech is a mountain of contradictions, double standards, and corporate deals. They scream accountability, but only when it protects them. They wave the flag of social justice, but only when it boosts their image. And the cracks in their perfect story? They're everywhere now. It's not just critics noticing, it's their own fans waking up to the scam. The whistleblowers, the insiders, the reporters flipping sides, they're all exposing the empire's shaky foundation. The world's most marketed couple is being stripped of their PR armor, one shady deal at a time. Behind the stage smiles and viral tweets, the empire is showing cracks so big, even Ryan's sarcastic charm can't patch them. Time Magazine's fake awards, insider favors, and their strategic silences only highlight how deep the manipulation runs. Their reputations aren't riding on talent anymore. They're built on bought influence, staged narratives, and relentless image control. But the more they scramble to hold it together, the more obvious it becomes. Fans, insiders, media outlets, they're all peeling back the layers, exposing the mess behind the marketing. Ryan and Blake's carefully curated facade? It's collapsing, and no amount of Deadpool jokes or influencer endorsements can save it. For the longest time, they spun every controversy into a win. Legal battles became victim stories. PR disasters became marketing opportunities. Even their marriage was packaged as Hollywood's most relatable love story. But the script is falling apart. As the lies unravel, the brand that Ryan and Blake built on charm, manipulation, and fake morality is cracking under the weight of its own hypocrisy. And watching it all implode? Well, that's the most authentic thing we've seen from them in years. What makes this whole Time Magazine scandal even more embarrassing is how obvious the desperation looks now that everything's falling apart. Normally, when someone lands on Time's influential lists, it's because they've reshaped industries, driven global movements, or actually influenced culture in a meaningful way. But Ryan Reynolds? His biggest recent accomplishments are fast-tracking gin ads and making passive-aggressive jokes at his legal enemies. Blake? She's been busy flipping lawsuits and selling hard seltzers. What's even worse is the way they've turned these awards into a shield. Every time someone calls them out on their hypocrisy or shady connections, they wave those Time magazine covers like some golden ticket to credibility. But real influence isn't bought through billionaire parties, backroom favors, or cozy relationships with powerful media owners like Mark Benioff. And yet, here they are, parading their fake success while the world watches the cracks widen. It's like a Hollywood magic trick gone wrong. They spent so long building illusions, they forgot that audiences eventually catch on. You can buy covers, silence critics, and stage photo ops, but when the lies start leaking, even the most polished PR empire starts to rot from the inside out. Let me know in the comments how long you think Ryan and Blake can keep faking it be brutal. I'm reading everything, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button.